we welcome in. You can follow him on twitter.com/DaveSimonMMA. Mr. Dave Simon.
Oh, yeah.
What's happening, my friend?
Things are happening, you know?
That's pretty specific.
It's dark outside.
It is. Good Lord. 7:20. Feels like it's like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it sucks.
So, Dave, I heard you, as we mentioned, a little bit on Friday night talking about some Ultimate Fighter news. Let's start with that.
Yeah, the Ultimate Fighter Season 17, the next season that will go down.
17 already, wow.
Yeah, we're on 16 right now. Roy Nelson and Shane Carwin are coaching. It's airing right now. 17 coming up. It will debut in January. They're going to start filming the show later this month, actually. I think on the 29th of October.
Where? Do you know where they do
this?
In
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, yeah.
Yeah, in the house there in Las Vegas and the gym, the UFC training center that they have all set up there in Vegas. So that will take place, and it will be coached by Jon Jones, the UFC light heavyweight champion, and Chael Sonnen, the former number one contender in the UFC middleweight division, a guy who's coming off a loss to Anderson Silva for that middleweight title, losing to Anderson in July. Chael Sonnen and Jon Jones will then fight for that UFC light heavyweight title on April 27th of 2013 when the season concludes airing on television. It'll actually be done filming probably in December, early December, but it'll start airing in January, and then they'll fight in April. And a lot of people not happy with this decision that Chael Sonnen will be getting this shot at Jon Jones. As I said, Chael Sonnen is coming off a loss. Chael Sonnen is coming off a loss at middleweight, and now he's going up to 205 pounds to fight the light heavyweight champion.
Has he fought at that weight before?
Not since 2007.
Wow.
So it really makes no sense for Chael Sonnen to be the next number one contender at light heavyweight. Dana White, the UFC president, and Jon Jones, and even Chael Sonnen have admitted that, yeah, Chael is not the number one contender, but it's a fight that people want to see. Chael Sonnen almost got the fight. Well, it's a fight that I think some people want to see. I don't think that it serves any kind of purpose. It proves nothing for Jon Jones if he is able to beat Chael Sonnen. All that it'll really do is, be another victory, another title defense closer to that record, and he'll have beaten Chael Sonnen and send him into retirement. It really doesn't make any kind of sense because Chael's coming off a loss, and Jon Jones has other opponents that he could face at light heavyweight. But this fight was supposed to happen, or was maybe going to happen on September 1st. You might remember when Dan Henderson was supposed to fight Jon Jones. Henderson got hurt 8 days before the fight. Jon Jones was offered a fight against Chael Sonnen, and Jones turned it down because he didn't want to take a fight on short notice against anyone. It was too big of a risk for him, so he wasn't willing to take the fight. Chael Sonnen continued to taunt him on Twitter, and things went back and forth between Jones and Sonnen, and it seems as though some people do want to see Jones fight Chael Sonnen, either to shut him up or to prove that Jon Jones wasn't really afraid of Chael Sonnen, and I don't think that Jon Jones was afraid of Chael Sonnen. I think what happened was he didn't want to take a fight on short notice. It had nothing to do with Chael Sonnen. And now Chael, because he is such a good talker and he's talked his way into this fight, gets to coach on The Ultimate Fighter. And I really think that this is because ratings for The Ultimate Fighter this season and last season have been bad. And they've been bad on FX, which is the UFC's new broadcast partner. The Ultimate Fighter seasons 1 through 14 aired on Spike TV. Seasons 15 and 16 have aired on FX and have not done well. So I think that the UFC is trying to please FX by throwing in Chael Sonnen and Jon Jones as the coaches, because they will bring in ratings, because Jones is one of the biggest stars in the sport, and Chael Sonnen is a compelling guy who talks a big game. Unfortunately, the byproduct of Chael and Jones coaching The Ultimate Fighter is that they'll then fight at the end of the season, and Chael doesn't deserve a title shot.
Is their drop in ratings for this program, is it related to that network switch? I mean, we all know the audience for Spike TV, right? I mean, they have wrestling, they have man-oriented programs, right?
Yeah.
FX is sort of more of a mainstream in terms of the programming. General, they got the Charlie Sheen show, for example, right? His new anger management show, for example. So
they've got Louis, which is tremendous.
Yes. So is it a product more of the reach or audience of the network, do you think?
I think it's the night. I think the night had something to do with it. They're now on Friday nights. They were on Wednesday nights before, and I think it was a better home for them. I think that Spike TV has done a very good job in counter-programming The Ultimate Fighter. When The Ultimate Fighter airs on FX, Spike TV counter-programs with UFC programming that they pretend is brand new so that you don't watch FX, because the Spike TV deal with the UFC has the clause that Spike is allowed to play anything from that UFC library that they had when the UFC was there. They're allowed to air that stuff until 2013.
And against the UFC's
sure.
That is unbelievable.
They can do what they want.
That's almost a screw up by the UFC to say you can't air it during our current
right. But
that's amazing.
You got to understand, when the UFC and Spike TV were making these deals, the UFC had no leverage, really.
Right.
It was all about Spike TV and what they wanted. And you want to air our programming for a year afterwards, you have that right. But at the same time, Spike TV can't start airing Bellator, which is owned by the same people that own Spike TV, Viacom. So the fact that Viacom owns Bellator and Spike TV, it's a perfect match, but they're stuck with UFC as the only MMA they can actually air until 2013, and that's when things are going to ramp up, because Bellator is going to do their own Ultimate Fighter type show for their promotion, and that's going to air on Spike TV. And FX executives already saying that Bellator needs to watch out because they're going to counter-program them because they were doing it to them. So there's going to be a little bit of a war going on between Spike TV and FX.
But they don't have the inventory to counter-program. I mean, they're going to air John Jones, I guess, 24 hours a day. Is that what they're going to do?
What I'm saying is FX can counter-program with original UFC stuff, while Spike TV will be airing Bellator. So the UFC will be counter-programming Bellator, and I would expect that a lot going forward. Whenever Bellator will announce when their fight nights will be on Spike TV, expect the UFC to be going on the same night. And MMA fans, if given the choice between the UFC or Bellator, they're going to watch the UFC. So that's going to hurt Bellator in a major way, and I think, a lot of those reasons as far as the channel change, the night change, the Ultimate Fighter also changing nights. I don't think Friday night was a good night for it. It happened to be going on at the same time as Ringside Report Radio, which I don't think is a wise move by the UFC. So they're going to be moving the show maybe to Tuesday night, we're hearing, maybe back to Wednesdays like it was on Spike, or maybe even to Thursdays to counter-program Impact, which is, I think, Spike TV's
wrestling
biggest show. Yeah,
sure.
Impact Wrestling. I guess it would be the biggest thing they have going right now, so wouldn't be a bad idea to go on Thursday nights for the UFC.